Alrighty, so this past weekend, I was at a grocery store and I saw this Dunkin' Donuts Polar Peppermint Ground Coffee, and I naturally scanned it because that's now how I'm wired to live. I don't think that'll ever go away. But as I looked at it, I thought it would be a great product to share with you all. I think in general, sharing how I break down products in live time could be very beneficial. So I'm going to walk you through that. But this is also a unique item, being that it's a seasonal item. It's going to be a different type of Keepa chart. So I'm going to share that with you. Also, I did end up buying it, and I'm doing FBM on this product, even though I'm pretty much always FBA. And I'll explain that. And then lastly, towards the end of this, I'm going to show you how to find products, more listings of this same item, whether it be two packs or multi packs, from one simple hack. So, the first thing I want to do is show you what it looks like to me in the store. So, I'm going to scan this. I have Scoutify 2. I'll pull up my screen and we'll screen record this. And then what I'll do, we'll break down Keepa on my computer because it's the same from there. Okay. Scoutify 2, I scan it. And now what I'm going to do is just break this down with you. So I bought this like 2 days ago. I'll be honest, the numbers look the same right now. And even though this has become second nature to me, I break all of this and dissect all of this information in a matter of moments. I'm going to walk you through it and articulate it, okay? So first things first, right off the bat, I know this is Dunkin' Donuts. I know it's going to sell. I also know that seasonal grocery items, especially coffee, do really well, and they're only here for a short period of time. So those things work in our favor right off the bat. I know I'm allowed to sell Dunkin'. So then I see here in the middle of the screen in orange, you're going to see a sales rank around 100,000 out of over a million in grocery and food. If you tap on that, it's going to tell you it's the top 10%. Okay. I know that this is going to be a good selling product just from the context clues. Now I scroll down. By the way, I should mention this was $6.98. Okay. So I see FBA, there's no buy box, but FBA, the lowest price is $23.99 and the lowest FBM is $18.84. And if I sold it for best case scenario and I did FBA and I sold it for the low price of $23.99, let me switch this back to FBA. I would make $8.72. So we have our best case scenario now, 872. We're going to figure out our worst case scenario, okay? Once we dive into Keepa. But so that's everything I'm looking at now. So I like the sales rank, I like the brand, I like the prices, and I just have a hunch about seasonal grocery from experience. So now let's go into Keepa. I'm going to take this now to my computer, my desktop, to make things a little bit easier. Okay, I have it pulled up here. So what we'll do is go into Keepa. And so from here, a couple things. At the top of the screen right off the bat, I'm highlighting it, 406 reviews. That's a lot of reviews. I like that. I'm never so concerned what the ratings are, although it is good at 4.3. I'm more concerned with the number of reviews, which is a better indicator of how frequently something sells. You kind of assume one review for every couple hundred purchases. Like I never leave a review when I buy something, right? And most people don't. Also, before we go down to the charts, there's another thing I like to look at in this tab. If you follow my cursor next to data, if there was variations of this product, that tab would be right here. So this tells me it's not a variation and that all of the data I'm going to be looking at pertains just to this one listing. It's not like there's a 2-pack or a 3-pack under the same parent listing. No variations. That's important for stuff that commonly has multi-packs or different flavors. All right. So now here we are in the sales, the top chart. We're looking at the sales rank and the buy box basically. So first things first, the eye test. If you see where I'm going to highlight here. You can see the sales rank. The green line starts moving up and down. And that's because it's a seasonal product, so it makes complete sense. To the left of this, here, nobody had it in stock because it wasn't available. Again, it's a seasonal item and it's a peppermint one, which is typically like winter time, right? And that coincides with down here in the bottom chart. This blue line is an indicator of the number of sellers. So if you see to the left here, there's no blue line. There was no sellers. And if we go to the right from there, you can see there are sellers now. And it's steadily increasing drastically. When you look at basically There was no sellers on October 1. On October 8th, there was one seller. And now, current day, there's 8 sellers. So that's exactly what I anticipate. A seasonal item, a national brand hits the stores. Okay. Now people are starting to buy it. So the number of sellers is going to increase. So with this little bit of information, the buy box has shown to be pretty consistent. 1994, it went up to 22, down to 1890, all within the parameters of what we already discussed. So I'm good with that. The sales rank is moving up and down well. In addition, everything else confirming that it's selling. I don't love the number of sellers that it's continuing to climb, and I have a hunch that it's going to continue to climb even higher. Okay. And that's going to be one of the reasons I FBM it, which I'll get to in a moment. By the way, this is a 3-month snapshot. What we really should be looking at, especially with a seasonal item, is a year snapshot. And this is going to really help paint a picture. Okay. So just my visual on the eye test, right? Look at this wave of the number of sellers here in the bottom chart. It goes from all the way down here. And if you follow, so here, just to give you some context, there was 16. Remember, currently there's 8. It got all the way up to 53 come December. The highest ever was in January. And then right here, there was 53 in mid-January. And then you can see a sharp decrease, the part I'm highlighting here, all the way for the remaining couple months. Which, by the way, a great point. People buy pumpkin items, people buy peppermint items well after the holidays. Okay. So if it makes sense to you to buy and hold it, which everyone has a different, willingness to do so, it could make sense. And so anyway, what I like to do is here, for one, this just kind of confirms I already knew the amount of sellers is going to continue to climb, right? And what does that mean? The price continues to fall. So when there's a lot of sellers here, it's selling for $13.49. At the very peak, the lowest it ever sells for is like $12, which coincides when there's the most amount of sellers. So by the way, mental note, let's go back real quick. The worst case scenario is that this sells for $12 and we pay $6.98. So absolute worst case scenario, we lose 63 cents. Okay. Not the end of the world. So now we have our best case and our worst case. So here I'm looking at this, and again, going back to this, it's just going to continue to increase. The sale price is going to continue to decrease, but it's a good seller, and it is only going to be here for a short period of time. So I was only able to get my hand on 3 of these. All right. I said I'm going to buy this because the way that I see it, if I sell it today at $6.98 cost, if I sell it for the FBM price of $18.84, and I do FBM, I can make around $5, which is fine. I mean, I didn't go here specifically for this. It was just there, easy enough. You throw a label on it, you send it in, right? So for me, not only was the best and worst case scenario enough for me to be willing to take the chance, I'm actually FBMing this because there's only 3 of them. And if I were to FBA these and ship them off, it could take a week to go live, 2 weeks to go live, 3 weeks to go live. And what's going to happen in that time frame? The amount of other sellers that are sending in their product or getting their hands on it is going to continue to increase per that Keepa chart, right? So I want to sell these as fast as possible. And being that the FBA listers are not winning the buy box, there's no buy box, I was willing to take a chance, and we're going to do FBM. And there's only 3 of them. And if I had, let's say, 20 of them, I'd probably send in like 15 and keep 5 on hand and just try to sell some right away while I wait for the other ones to hit the Amazon warehouses. And to give you a little update, I bought these like 2 days ago, and I've already sold one of them. So my theory was backed by this, and it made sense, right? I do a bit more FBM this time of year anyway, so it's not like a major inconvenience for me. So I spent 7, I'll make 5 or something along those lines, and to me, it's well worth it. I didn't go just for those. I happened to be there, so I took them, right? And so I did mention I want to share with you one major tip on how to gain a competitive edge. So when I scan this product, this is the only listing that pops up. But I've been doing this a long time, and I know this is a national brand, as I mentioned, and something tells me there's probably multi-packs or variety packs out there. If I only scan that product, that's all that happens. But look what happens when you use keywords. Okay, I'm going to do Dunkin, and you can see I'm typing it in at the top. Polar peppermint ground coffee, and let's see what happens. And so from here, you can see quite a bit more listings. Now, that very top listing, that is the same listing that when we scanned. There's some of these that are not applicable at all. There's some that have different designs or logos on them. Here's one, Dunkin Polar Peppermint flavored. So that is the same product. It's as a 6-pack. Now, if you did the math, $7 a bag times 6, 42. I could just tell you it wouldn't make sense. I'm not saying that this always makes sense, but you need to know that there's other listings available just by typing keywords. Okay. And so here, if we scroll down a little bit, here you're going to see like a 2-pack, there's a 3-pack, there's a 3-pack, another 2-pack. Some of them have rank unavailable. Most of them do. So I'm not saying that they're home runs, but trust me, this is such a competitive advantage because many a times I do stuff like this with the keywords and there are good listings or multi-packs or variety packs. And by the way, some of these may make sense. I'm not here to dive into those. I'm just letting you know that that can give you a major leg up. So when you find something like this, if it makes sense, or even if it doesn't, but it's a good seller, type in keywords and see what other listings come up. It's a major way to create a barrier around your listing because most people aren't willing to do that. So that's everything I wanted to share with you. I'm Jonathan. Duke does Amazon. We're on Instagram as well. Any questions, comments, topics, put them below. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.